In Russia, Mercedes Lewis Hamilton ended up being awarded 2 5-second penalties for his practice start violations. Later, pictures emerged on social media supposedly showing Ferrari's Charles Leclerc commit the same infraction in Belgium, but he wasn't penalised. Toto Wolff and Mattia Binotto, the team principals from both teams, have now given their views on this. I'm your host Dillon Shelley, and first up on Formula World, Toto Wolff and Mattia Binotto disagree. Wolff began by explaining why Lewis's penalties were harsh. I think as always with these things, you must admit that you have a certain bias. There was no clear regulation. It said after the pit exit to the line and after the pit exit lights. Lewis took it quite far, but still within what was said in the event notes. I felt additionally that the penalty was too harsh. He then compared it to Leclerc's incident. I saw Charles' situation and it was the same, that he was after the position that was indicated in the event notes. He wasn't that far down the pit exit as was Lewis, but nevertheless he was still after the line. He further elaborated on how the stewards treated both incidents differently. We have still some variability between penalties on one side, something that from the pure optics looked much less of an infringement, which was Charles, but nevertheless behind the line and behind the lights, and that wasn't penalised. Then, on the other side, you had a situation where Lewis was further down the line and still in the same position and was awarded 2 5-second penalties. We need to have a little bit more of a balanced situation, and as I said before, 2 5-second penalties were in my opinion too harsh. Mattia Binotto gave his response to this. Yeah, we do not comment on the stewards' decisions. We still fully trust what they are doing and somehow their decision. I think relative to Charles, I think that the situation was completely different in Spa. He concluded his words by explaining how Leclerc did nothing wrong. There was a race director's note indicating that drivers could have somehow passed the line just to make that they were avoiding to have a queue in the pit lane. That's exactly what Charles did, just passing by 2 meters the line, to avoid any queue without having any advantage from that move. So I think that situation was completely different. Fast feed. When asked what the chances were of getting signed by Red Bull, sidelined F1 driver Nico Hülkenberg replied by saying that chance is very small. He however added that he is in no rush and hinted that he's looking around, good things take time. Red Bull team principal Christian Horner pointed out that in 2026 they will get new engines, but feels that maybe F1 should do it sooner. It has to be cost-effective, loud and sustainable. He also added that to develop the engine as an independent manufacturer is unrealistic. You would first have to go to Mr. Todd to find out what the rules are. Renault's managing director Cyril Abiteboul has confirmed that Christian Horner and Helmut Marko have spoken to Renault CEO Luca Di Maio, but added that it was a neutral meeting. He further explained that Luca has only recently become their CEO. It was his first time with Red Bull. It was more like getting to know each other. His driver Daniel Ricciardo feels that Red Bull's Max Verstappen is so good they shouldn't underestimate him. It's not easy for young drivers like Alex and Pierre. You have to be mentally quite resilient to drive against Max. 2016 world champion Nico Rosberg feels that Ferrari seem to be getting stronger. They've certainly taken a step. He also thinks that 0.5 of a second is way too much of a difference between Max Verstappen and Alex Albon during qualifying after so many races. AlphaTauri's Daniel Kvyat thinks it was quite unprofessional of Alex Albon and poor judgment to collide with him during the Eiffel Grand Prix. Haas driver Romain Grosjean feels that it is good news for him that he was able to hold on to P9 during the Eiffel Grand Prix. Mercedes' Valtteri Bottas has stated that his DNF is disappointing, of course, just very, very disappointing, but it's one of those things you cannot do anything about. He also understands the gap to Lewis is now pretty big in the points, so he would definitely need a miracle, but as always, there is no point in giving up. His team principal, Toto Wolff, stated they don't know yet what caused the failure in Bottas's car, and added that it looks like it was around the MGU-H, but they haven't found the root cause yet. Wolff also predicted that Red Bull Racing will overtake them by the end of the season. And Williams' George Russell is frustrated after being taken out by Alfa Romeo's Kimi Raikkonen because the car was feeling good and the way the race went, he thinks he could have scored points. Will Nico Hülkenberg be on the grid in a full-time capacity next season? Head over to my community page to vote in the poll and let me know what you think in the comments. And if you like this video, feel free to subscribe and check out my others for all the latest in the world of Formula 1.